All right, we're coming back from lunch and we are going to talk about an activity that uh, I really enjoy facilitating, and it's called Chopped. And it utilizes the idea of the TV show Chopped and translated into the world of classroom and instructional design. I want to mention right away that this activity could be replaced by something else. It is not a necessity in this progression. Um, I'll show you in a minute why this activity can be helpful. But that being said, if it needed to be replaced by something more specific to the demand of a partner with this domain, right? That could be one scenario. Or when you're going to look at what's in the culture at the end, like the what to do after we build our plan, and if there's something there that draws you more, then it's totally fine to just remove chopped and have directly the self-paced exploration and then have an activity after that, right? That being said, let's talk about chopped. So the intro to Chop for me is to be able to say that so far we have been able to explore what's in that domain, what are the growth areas of our domain, and then we've been able to explore 5 to 7 strategies that give us a sense of what the better lesson strategies are like and how they can start addressing growth area. But we want to kick off the afternoon by actually being creative. And for multiple reasons. First of all, it's fun, right? To be creative and start the afternoon being creative is a good way to get our brains to wake up. But we believe at Better Lesson in being creative to respond to the very specific challenges and aspiration our teachers bring to the table. You guys know this as coaches that we don't require people to use exactly our Better Lesson strategy. These are canvas we can build on and from, but often we'll have to come up with really a customized approach to the reality of someone, right? And so this is part of what we do. And one of the ways that we can kind of like start modeling what that looks like is to put ourselves in a situation of having to create an instructional strategy based on a few components, right? Now, we're not going to create a fully fledged instructional strategy or a long lesson plan, but we're going to share some ideas around a challenging situation. So here's what this slide is to show what happens when we create a strategy with a participant. Like sometimes it becomes actually a strategy feature on the website, like Milana's filling in the gap. So here sometimes I explain what the show Chopped is like for some people who haven't seen it, or ask a participant to explain. But basically what they're going to have a choice of an instructional basket that they can pick inside this document at the bottom for their domain. In each basket, they'll find a growth area, a couple of tech tools, sometimes one, sometimes two, that need to be used to address these growth areas in the strategy that they're going to design. And then some spices. Most likely the spices are going to be specific circumstances, things to know about the class or the context. We want them to try to choose a basket that align to the domain and growth areas they are currently the most interested in, right? So example, if we're on student-centered assessment and feedback, and if they're currently more interested in delivering checks or understanding, then they probably should pick the basket that has that growth area. They can find all the baskets at this link. I'm going to click on this link right now. When you open that document, you're going to find each of the growth areas, tech tools component there, some spices, and then with these ingredients, they can use their own content and their own grade level. They can bring it to their own practice. They have to spend a little time exploring the tech tools in case they don't know them. And what I included there are videos, short videos of each of them, no more than 4 or 5 minutes. And then look at the spices and try to design an approach to the situation using that, right? Let me go back to the slide. We want to give them choices at this point. We're still in this idea of modeling choices. And so a couple of choices they have. They can partner up with somebody else if that feels daunting, that task, and then rather tackle it with somebody else that teach in their school the same content. Or they can choose to work solo, because actually what they've been wanting to have is that solo time. They can stay at the table, they can move to a different space in the room, can break that already, and then they can pick the basket, right? So there's different elements of choice. This is what they have to do. I stress here that they don't have to create a lesson plan or a slide deck. Sometimes they get stressed because they think that's what we expect. No, at the end of the 25 minutes time, just have to be ready to explain to the group what was in their basket and what they would do with if that hand was drawn for them, right? And that's it. Then we release them for about 20-minute research and design. At the end of this, as a team, we can go around and everybody share what they had in their basket and what they cooked up with. Nobody gets shocked, of course, no stress. And I would stress there that one of the interests at the end is to actually learn about multiple tech tools that can support things in that growth areas, and so take notes of maybe some that could be interesting for you to incorporate in your approach. In the doc that I made, there is a Flipgrid link at the bottom. So there is a scenario in which if we wanted, this sharing could be done just virtually via the Flipgrid link. And then the people look at each other's video as opposed to having a table conversation if we prefer. This is really up to you. I think it works both ways. I didn't insert a debrief there, but I think it would have been interesting to have them debrief there. But sometimes over debriefing can get old. So maybe this one is a good one to actually not debrief, but have a break. But if you wanted to close with a debrief question, I think what's interesting there is to reiterate the point of creativity to approach specific situation is something that we are ready to do as coaches with them. Because sometimes when they come to the workshop, the number one pushback is, well, your strategy is all nice and great, but it doesn't work with my kids or in my context. So reiterating that what's important to us is be thought partner in helping them design solutions to their specific challenges. And so that I think could be an interesting point to stress again at the end of this. And we go to the first afternoon break. If you are short on time, that break could actually be skipped because the next section of the agenda being a self-paced exploration of 60 to 75 minutes, they could also build a break for themselves during that phase. Okay, so if you're short on time, that break doesn't have to be there.